Oh. I love this song. Are you drunky?
I don't know. It's supposed to be low ABV.
Are you off to work on the railroad? Are you going to California for the gold rush?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
Where's all my New York ladies tonight?
I know that you love that, but we have a nice
Okay, so we have to leave then.
Bye, Draco.
Come on.
Oh no!
I don't want to leave. It's okay. Oh, bye. No more, no more. Woo!
The steps in.
Hi. Welcome back to the channel. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks or so, I think, since my last video. I just wanted to record something because I've been feeling inspired to like make more videos recently. Admittedly have not been doing too much reading. I feel like I had a really good reading month in July and August and read so many books that I really fucked with. But I sadly have not been able to continue that energy into September. Like, I've been picking up on a lot of books and trying to get into them, but nothing's really been super compelling for me so far. I did finish a few books, which I enjoyed, but they weren't like life-changing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think instead of reading, I've just been honestly partying more, or at least for the past week. I've just been going out at night and like to clubs and yeah, just like going out dancing. Actually with Ben a lot. We went out 3 times last week, which is like a lot. Like, I'm not really a huge party person. Like, I like to dance. I like if there's good music, like I will have a good time. But normally, like, I don't really go out to clubs and such. Like, I feel like I would still prefer mostly like a concert or a show to just like going out to like hear a DJ like play some techno set or something. But I don't know what's come over. I don't know what's been happening. Honestly, I just feel like now that I'm working this full-time tech job, like I think my weekdays just are so boring now that I feel like I have to have like extra fun when I can. So I've just been like going out a lot more, which is fine. Like honestly, it's not that crazy compared to a lot of people, but for me, it's like a little bit crazy because I'm normally like a grandma. So that's been kind of exciting. But yeah, have gone out like multiple times last week, like late into the night. I am very exhausted this week. Like sometimes like I have a chronic illness and I mean sometimes I just feel like I need to sort of like reality check myself because when I get like caught up in I don't know, just like socializing a lot or like going out a lot or whatever, or like wanting to like do all these like hang out with friends, like do all these things, like sometimes I'll just like willfully ignore that my body can become very unhappy with me if I like overexert myself. So I'm definitely feeling like quite like not great the past few days after going out so much. But honestly, it's like it's worth it to a certain extent. Like that's at least where I'm at in life. So I don't know. That's probably like not great for the long term, but whatever. Like I used to be so much worse. Like right now my main issue is just mainly like fatigue and like chronic pain type stuff, but like literally like a few years ago I was like basically housebound, bedridden for like long periods of time. So honestly, I just am feeling very grateful and happy that I have like I'm mainly functional and can like do things now. So yay for that. But yeah, besides going out a lot, I went to see a few shows recently that I enjoyed. One dance show at Little Island recently called Seven Scenes. I have a friend, or not really a friend, like an acquaintance. I've only met her once, but like I really liked her the time that I met her. She was in this dance show called Seven Scenes, choreographed by Bobbi Jean Smith or Schraiber. I don't really know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but they have like the summer series in New York where Little Island will put on these shows open to the public, and it's like a really beautiful venue. The stage is like, if you don't know what Little Island is, it is this kind of like man-made park island in Hudson Yards, like right on the water. So it's like basically this island, given the name Little Island, that's like a hill, and then the stage, there's like a performance venue that overlooks the Hudson River. So yeah, it's like really beautiful, a really good space. So yeah, I saw that dance show there, contemporary dance. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, the choreography was like nothing groundbreaking. Like, I don't think it was meant to be groundbreaking, so, like, it's totally fine. But, yeah, like, I thought the cast was great. Some parts of it felt quite, like, Pina Bauschy, which I enjoyed a lot. Yeah, Peyton was amazing. Her legs were really just, like, going up here. I was like, damn, girl. Like, fucking work. Yeah, also, like, the performance had a live music aspect. There was some live instrumentalists and singers that were kind of improvising on stage. along with the dancers, which was really cool. And it was just a good vibe, like beautiful venue, good weather that night. Yeah, and I got some really good fish tacos after, which was yummy. And I saw another, well, not really a show, but it was a poetry reading put on by Pappy Juice. A poetry reading and kind of like a DJ set music show, put on by this organization called Pappy Juice in New York, which is like a non-binary, queer, trans-focused organization that do like a lot of cultural events in the city. And yeah, they put on a poetry reading with 3 poets. One of the poets' name is... Oh my gosh, what is his name? Give me 1 second. Okay, I really like don't know why I cannot remember or find this poet's name. But yeah, I really enjoyed this poet whose name I can't remember. He read last, and I think he has like his debut poetry collection is coming out with Grey Wolf sometime this year, which is huge. I went with my friend Garrett, a lovely, lovely friend of mine, who knows the poet personally, and yeah, we like met after. It was really sweet. There was like a little like DJ set show by this band called Tongue in the Mind, which was also quite good. And then, yeah, I hadn't seen Garrett in a while, so we just like caught up and again got fish tacos at the same place that I went to the last week. It's called Los Mariscos in Chelsea Market, and it's like so fucking delicious. I would highly recommend if you live in New York. Yeah, there was like this part in the show, like the DJ set slash like show from that band where like the music was like quite hard, like the BPM was like bumping, and but like everyone had stayed sitting like from the poetry reading. It was like an outdoor event, so everyone was like still sitting on like the grass, but the music was quite hard, and like everyone was just kind of like doing this but like still sitting. And then me and Garrett were just like, should we like stand up and dance? Because it feels like, and also because the band members were like, oh, like if you feel free to like stand up and like have a good time or like just like whatever, dance, like that's like what we're like, we want everyone to like express themselves and like have a good time. But like literally no one was doing that. But then I was like, should we? So then like in the middle of the song we just kind of like scurried to the side, and then we just like both stood up and we're just like like dancing, like the only 2 people standing up and dancing. And like I immediately regretted and like felt so awkward, but it was like cute because I don't know, like we were just kind of like, yeah. But it was fine. It still had a good time, and that was kind of like a cute, funny moment. And then like when the song ended, we were like, all right, like we're gonna sit back down now. It's like funny. It's getting hot in here. It's a little bit stuffy. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then last Thursday I also went to see a kind of like dance, or I wouldn't really consider it to be dance, like more like performance arts show at this venue called Pageant in Bushwick. The show was called The Essence and the Choice, created by a choreographer performer named Matty Davis, I think. It was a performance of him and his 13-year-old stepson. Yeah, it was interesting. Like, definitely one of the more unique shows that I've seen in a bit. Felt a little bit more like a work in progress than like a finished piece, but I think like it's like when he was showing, it was still kind of like, I'm sure that like he will iterate more on the show, because I think he's touring it a little bit. It's still like quite early in the like performance cycle. But yeah, like I wouldn't really say like it was an enjoyable time. Like it was a stressful experience, and I think it was meant to be kind of stressful. So I think it did its job if that was what it was trying to do. Um, yeah, like so he did this performance with his stepson, who's like this teenage boy. I think probably like around like middle school age, like maybe like 12 or 13. Um, and yeah, like through movement and kind of like the way that the two were interacting with each other, it seemed to be a sort of exploration of like power dynamics, I guess, between like a father figure and son. So I guess like an exploration of fatherhood in that sense, but also like exploring elements of confrontation and risk and care in the show. Um, yeah, like it started off with this game. Like there was audience participation. Like they asked people to join from the audience, but I think like they were already like pre-chosen, like they were his friends or something. But it was a game where like you throw the ball against the wall. There's like multiple players. Throw the ball against the wall. Um, and then the next person has to catch it and then keeps throwing it and the next person catches. So there's like an order to the game. But then if you cannot catch the ball, then you have to run to the wall before the next person gets the ball and throws it. So if you reach the wall before the ball hits the wall, you're safe. But then if the ball hits the wall first, then you're out. And then you have to lean against the wall. And then the next person tries to throw the ball at you. And if it hits you, you're out. You're like out of the game. But then if they miss, then you're back in the game. It's so yeah, and then when this game was going on, the kid, the stepson, was like laying on the floor like against the wall. So like the players had to like avoid hitting him or like running into him. So there was like a little bit of like danger element there that like felt a little bit like ooh, like I guess like something yeah, just like risky about it. But the guy, the main performer, Matty Davis, he was like really like this is like a hard wooden, not wooden, a hard like rubber ball, like bouncy ball, and like when he would try to get people out, like he was really like fucking like throwing the ball with like all of his strength and like smacking people like on the backs, and like I was like whoa, like this is a little bit like violent. But yeah, it started off like that, and then the rest of the show was kind of like sort of like the kid kind of abusing or not really abusing, but just like directing Matty around like different movements and different things, like stop, go, like go there, go here, like all this stuff, and like until like he was really exhausted. And then there was a part where he brought out a ladder to like change the lights on the ceiling that were kind of suspended from these like iron or whatever metal bars. And then while he's changing it, someone from the audience, like I mean, it's planned obviously, would stand up and then like yank the ladder out. So then he's just like hanging from the ceiling. And then doing that until like exhaustion and then like falling to the ground. And like this happened like 4 times. And then there was a part where the kid was like climbing on him and kind of like riding him like a horse and like stepping on him like fully like on his hands and like his limbs and stuff. And then there was a part where and then the roles kind of switched at one point, so then that Matty was directing the kid more. So there was like definitely some sort of interesting play between like of like power between the two, like the power dynamics, and also like, but there were also some really tender moments where they would like wipe each other's sweat like in the middle of the show, and then like a lot of like physical contact that wasn't confrontational but also like quite like tender in some moments. But yeah, like it was really interesting. And also another thing that I found quite interesting is that like there was little to no focus on aesthetic at all. Like the purpose of this performance was not to like come off like I don't think beauty or like any type of aesthetic attitude was like prioritized at all for the show, which I thought was quite refreshing. And also there was barely any music. Like there was only one section where there was a little bit of music and the rest of it was just like in silence. So you just like hear the performers breathing or like directing each other, but even like when they spoke, it was quite sparse. So there was something like very minimal about it, which I enjoyed. Yeah, and then the ending was quite intense too. So then the ending like reflected the beginning where like that game they were playing, but then it was only between Matty and then his stepson. And then I'm sure this was also planned, but then the stepson lost and then had to like stand against the wall for Matty to try to like hit him with the ball. But instead of hitting him, like, so on the walls too, there was like photography from like another performance, I guess that was related to this one that Matty did, like some other thing, I don't think it's like super relevant, but there are like these framed photos kind of like hung in the studio. And then in the end, when he goes to like throw the ball at his stepson, instead of throwing the ball to hit him, he hits the framed photo, which like the glass breaks and it like smashes to the ground. And that's like the end of the show, which I thought was like, wow, quite powerful and like very kind of like yeah, violent. there was a sense of kind of like danger in the show that I thought was like done really well. Like it wasn't to the point where like I felt uncomfortable or like thought it was like abusive in any way, but like I think there was just enough of a kind of like spill into that territory for me to be like, oh shit, like I don't really know what's gonna happen. And like for me that's like, it was quite exciting. But yeah, really interesting. It definitely wasn't my favorite thing that I've ever seen. Like I think the flow of the show was still kind of like yeah, I think they're I don't know, I think the show could have benefited from a bit more consideration for like composition or like flow or something, because it did feel a bit like, oh, like this is happening now and now we're doing this and now like there's not, it didn't really feel connected well, but it was interesting. And yeah, I think this venue pageant has some pretty experimental stuff, so it was the first time I went to that space, so I think that I will like keep an eye out for more shows going on there. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, and then me and Ben went to, along with like some other friends, went to this ambient show at Public Records last week. This is like part of our part of our bender last week, but it was like a really gorgeous ambient show. What are these people's names? I really need to prepare for these videos beforehand and like maybe like take some notes, because it's quite annoying that I never know who I'm actually talking about. Christina, Vantzou, and John also Bennett. That is a crazy name. I actually didn't know that his name was John also Bennett. Whoa, good for him, I guess. But yeah, they are a duo. I think they're also partners. But yeah, ambient music. I feel like normally there's like the conception that ambient music is quite like peaceful and simple and like meditative and calming, but this their ambient music was like very textured and gritty and like quite dark sounding, which I enjoyed a lot. Yeah, I was on a journey. I let's just say I wasn't like completely sober, but like we were like leaning against the speakers and like I just felt like I was like turning into mud at a certain point. Like also just like the vibrations of the bass. Like Public Records has it's a really nice venue, kind of like a weird draws like a weird crowd. But they have a really, really good sound system and like it's like a really beautifully designed space. But there's like a whole back wall that's like fully speakers. But yeah, I was just like leaning against the speakers and I like kept like envisioning just like roots growing in the dirt and like water seeping and like it just felt very like dark and wet and like muddy. Like that's what the music felt like to me. It was really, really beautiful and I really enjoyed. But yeah, so that was also great. Yeah, then that weekend we went to Basement, which is a club in New York, and then we went to this venue called Holo, which was also an experience. Yeah, now I'm dead. I'm fully RIP dead. I will not be going out for the time being for sure. At least for the next few weeks because that was really fun but like also really a lot. And apologies if you came here for me talking about books. Because I'm going to talk about movies instead. I will be talking about books later in the video. But I did see some good movies recently. So me and Ben saw Weapons last week as well, which was a fucking blast. I had so much fun. It was like not very scary at all. Yeah, I thought some parts of it were very clever. It was entertaining. It was quite goofy at some moments. Some like good like thriller scenes, jump scares, whatever. It was a great experience. And I think it's a great movie to watch in theaters with other people because it was a fucking hoot and like the whole theater was like screeching and hooting and hollering. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's not like freaking Tarkovsky, but like still a really, really good movie. I also then watched an Ira Sachs film that I hadn't seen before called Keep the Lights On, which was beautiful. Like, wow, I really love Ira Sachs as a director. I think he's so... just the way that the stories he chooses, the casting decisions that he makes, like, the subject matter of his films are always so... like beautifully explored and so like sensitive, and it like feels like he is just like his movies feel like a glimpse into the lives of like real people. But yeah, Keep the Lights On it's like a beautiful movie about a queer relationship between two gay men, and yeah, like just it like made me want to be in love but also like I was like, never mind, this being in love is also like so, it can be so devastating. And anyway, I don't know, I just thought it was really, really well made. And the main character in that film, who's played by this Danish actor, I think, his name is, wow, I do not know how to pronounce his name. Thur Lindhart. I don't know. He was incredible. Like, a very... I feel like we don't see... like, he has this very, like, shifty, sort of, skittish energy that is a little bit, like, uncomfortable to watch sometimes. And, like, there are some also, like, very, like, incredibly awkward scenes. But his, like, disposition is just very, like, androgynous and like complex in a way that I just don't feel like I see in American cinema at all. Like, I don't really see characters like this. Because there's something also like very unattractive about the way that he is, which also can be attractive, but I don't know, like I just feel like American cinema is afraid to like cast actors or cast or like have main characters in movies be not like smooth or like conventionally charismatic in some ways. I don't know if I'm like making sense, but I feel like I only see these types of characters in like European movies, or maybe I just haven't like watched enough films in general. But yeah, something about this character is quite compelling, and also I feel like that's also just who this actor is, like as a person. Like I feel like Sachs often says that he casts actors and actors and actresses for like their own personalities and their own quirks. Like he doesn't want his actors to like transform into someone else. Like he wants them to like show up to the screen like as themselves, if that makes sense, but like playing a character but still like as themselves, which I think is a really interesting way of looking at casting and writing scripts with certain people in mind already. But yeah, that was a really, really lovely film. I really enjoyed, cried quite a bit during it. I also saw, my Letterboxd review is, and that's life, baby, sad face. I also saw Antichrist, the Lars von Trier film, for the first time. This movie, I didn't really like it too much. I mean, I thought that I love Charlotte Gainsbourg. She's one of my favorite actresses. I think there's just, her voice is just so beautiful and like sensual, and like I just think like her being and like her, she has something so charismatic about her, like something very soft but also very strong about her that I enjoy so much to like watch on screen. And her performance was fucking incredible. Like, I think she won, like, some major awards for this, like, as she should, because she really fucking went there for this movie. Like, Lars von Trier had her doing some crazy-ass shit for this movie. But I thought that, like, I mean, I feel like the film is supposed to be this kind of exploration about, like, grief and depression and mental illness and whatever after the loss of a child. But honestly, I felt like it was quite misogynistic and very, like, one note, like, the way that the story progressed. And I feel like Lars von Trier was just trying to make, like, shock cinema. I don't know, like, it just wasn't, I didn't feel like there was much depth to the movie, especially in the way that he characterized Charlotte Gainsbourg's character. Like, I'm like, what was the point of you making this? Like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I was like, okay, so, like, your point is that, like, women are evil and can't function, and, like, the husband character is so incredibly, like, he's a therapist, played by Willem Dafoe, and, like, basically the whole film is just Charlotte Gainsbourg's character having like a mental breakdown and like deteriorating deeply into like psychosis or whatever because of the death of their child. And like Willem Dafoe's character is just like so calm, so chill, like expresses barely any emotion, is just like constantly like intellectualizing and like trying to therapize his wife in like a very annoying like mansplaining way, but also just like doing all the right things to be like a great husband to like support like her in her time of need. And I'm just like, okay, like this is just so not realistic. Like, why is he such like a cardboard cutout of a character. I don't know. I just like felt like the movie was lacking something. Like I didn't really feel much from it, although I did appreciate like the audacity of Lars von Trier and like the whole cast and crew to like make something like this. Like it's quite like intense. And violent and yeah, like yeah, but not really a big fan of this movie. I also watched a Hong Sang-soo movie with Isabelle Huppert, who's in like a lot of his movies, called A Traveler's Needs, which was cute. Like I enjoyed. I don't love Hong Sang-soo. Like he's like really a festival darling, and he makes like 5 films a year, and they're all just, I feel like he just makes the same film over and over, to be honest. Like they're always just very, very similar in themes and like the relationships between characters, and the dialogue is always like stilted and awkward in like this very specific way, which I like don't mind. I think it's like interesting and can be like funny and compelling, but I don't know. I just feel like his style of filmmaking is probably just not complete to my taste. But this was a cute movie. Like I love Isabelle Huppert. Just like seeing the movie is set in Korea. She plays like this kind of weird French teacher or French person who teaches French to people in Korea, who's just kind of like wandering around Seoul, broke, and living with her like much younger Korean boyfriend and drinking a lot of makgeolli and just like being like sort of a manic pixie dream girl but older, which was actually kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like Hong Sang-soo's films, the dialogue is always, it can be so awkward and like stilted. And I know like some people enjoy that kind of dynamic where it, like there's like this kind of inherent tension to scenes in the film because like the relationship dynamics are just kind of off kilter in a way that people are kind of like, oh, like what's happening here? But for me, like I'm just kind of like, why are they speaking like this? Like why are they saying these things? Like it just like, it doesn't really make sense to me sometimes, the choices he makes in his scripts and whatever. But it's fine. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was cute. I also watched, sorry, I'm like looking through my Letterboxd. I watched Oslo August 31st, which is I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong, Joachim Trier movie. I mean, he's a pretty, yeah, he did Worst Person in the World, which was great. He has a new movie coming out that I'm forgetting the name of, that I'm really dying to see. This movie, I had taken quite a break from watching films. Like I hadn't really seen a movie in like 2-3 months at this point, and this was the first movie that I saw getting back into it, and this was depressing as fuck. Like I was very, wow, I was like, oh shit, like what a good introduction back into film, because now I'm like depressed and sad. But basically the premise is that there is this drug addict who leaves rehab for one day to kind of return to Oslo to reconnect with his friends, family, whatever. And he's like still kind of pining after his ex-girlfriend, and he goes to like meet a bunch of people in his life, some of them who know that he is recovering, some of which who don't know, and just kind of floats through the city with different people and is contemplating his life and his journey. And yeah, just like a very It feels to me a bit like a very straight male movie in the sense that this main character is a straight, good-looking, attractive white male who grew up privileged but is just has somehow become like a drug addict and now is kind of needing to start from scratch, but like not really, because like people will help him like if he needs, and like his family is still supportive of him and like all this stuff, but like he kind of has this like whiny woe is me energy that is like, yeah, if I was in his position I would also feel down about myself and my life, but also I'm like, okay, like you're gonna be okay, you know, like you're not dead broke, like you have parents who love you, you have like your career is like not completely destroyed, like you could crawl your way back to like a functional life if you really wanted to. But I think I don't know, like also like there's like depression involved, and he still has obviously issues with substance abuse and like all this stuff, so like addiction is like a huge challenge, obviously. And I think like the way that the director explored his POV was like very like tunnel vision-y and very immersive, which I enjoyed, and like I empathized a lot with this character, but also I was like, wow, like he's just like calling his ex-girlfriend drunk and like whining about like not having a job, but like at the end of the day, like there are people who are so much worse off that are like in the same, who are like addicts but also like have no support system and like all this stuff. So I was kind of like, okay, whatever. But like I still enjoyed it. It was beautifully shot. The script was great. Enjoyed. So yeah. Okay, so in terms of books, not much since the last video, but I did finish reading August Blue by Deborah Levy, which I enjoyed. I definitely didn't think it was like a masterpiece in any sense, but I do feel like Deborah Levy is I really like her sensibilities as a writer, so like anything she writes, I think I will enjoy reading. I was really attracted to the premise of this book, which is that a kind of like concert pianist who was, you know, like a child prodigy and was really acclaimed like for her like artistry and skill and whatever as a pianist, has kind of like a meltdown on stage at a concert, I think playing Rachmaninoff, I think, piano concerto, and then she like walks off the stage and kind of like quits as a pianist, and kind of goes through this whole like transformation. She like dyes her hair blue, hence the title of the book, August Blue. And yeah, she like sees this woman buying 2 mechanical horses at this like flea market, I guess, and becomes convinced that this woman is like her doppelganger, and yeah, it's like kind of becomes obsessed with this woman and like follows her around and like whatever. And I normally really enjoy reading books about music, or like movies, or like really any type of media about like classical music or like performers in general. So I was like, okay, like I would probably enjoy this, which I did. I mean, the only other Levy book that I've read is The Man Who Saw Everything, which I think is an absolute fucking masterpiece. And I so loved that book and cried so much at the ending, and just like had such a strong experience of that book. So I think this one, compared to The Man Who Saw Everything, definitely was not like at the same level of experience and like enjoyment as that one. So maybe I was like expecting too much going into it. Yeah. There is an aspect with of August Blue, which is exploring the relationship between the main character Elsa, who's the pianist, and her mentor slash like adoptive father, which I found to be quite interesting. Her mentor is old and he is like basically dying, hospice, and like being cared for by his like younger lover, and Elsa is like low-key like avoiding going to visit him or whatever, or like kind of shirking away from the responsibilities of taking care of him. And then when she does go there, like he's already deteriorating quite quickly, and yeah, like there is something very beautiful and complex about that relationship that I really enjoyed reading, but I also wish that there was more to that. Like I think it would have made the book a lot stronger for me if Levy had, I don't know, just like decided to write more into their relationship, and how Elsa deals with you know, his inevitable decline and death and like all this stuff. Also, like there's a lot about, or there are like pockets of the book where it's exploring like her issues with abandonment, because she was abandoned, or not abandoned, yeah, I guess abandoned by her birth parents like at a very young age, before being adopted by her mentor. And so there's like a lot of like insecurities around, or like a lot of fantasizing about who her mother was, and she knew that her mother was also a pianist. So there's like this kind of like very like this yearning for connection in that sense, to her mother that she never knew, but also like she refuses to learn more about her birth parents. Like at some point her mentor like offers her a file like about the circumstances of her like being given up to him and whatever, but then she like doesn't want to read it because she's like afraid of learning the truth and like all this stuff. Like I think there are a lot of really, really interesting, juicy I don't know, I'm doing this, really juicy parts of this book, but I just wish that it went deeper into exploring them, because I wanted like more depth, like more feeling, more something, I don't know. But I mean, there are always, I feel like Levy's writing, there's always gems peppered throughout, like beautiful sentences, very like profound, like surprising observations, whatever, that were really beautiful to read. I did find the doppelganger thing to be a bit like nonsensical. I was like, okay, like she is following this woman around and she's obsessed with these mechanical horses and blah 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 blah, but like I was like, cool, like why? I don't know, I just thought it was kind of pointless a little bit. Like I don't like, maybe I just wasn't picking up on what Levy was trying to do with this part of the book. But yeah, I think in general I enjoyed it. Yeah, like it felt like a good read for the end of the summer, because this is like definitely a summer book. Like it feels like a summer book to me. Like it takes place in Greece, in Italy, like in Rome, like very like I don't know, I feel like the setting is very like European summer vibes, which was nice. Okay, this video is so exorbitantly long. I'm so sorry. I was actually, August Blue I think is the only book that I've finished since the last video. So yeah, not a great reading period for me. I was gonna talk about books that I had DNF'd, but I don't think it's already been 50 minutes and I don't even want to hear myself talk anymore, so I'll spare you guys. But thank you for watching! I hope you enjoyed the video. A lot of blabbing about random things. Yeah, have a great week. Thank you for watching. I already said that.